Okay, well, it's about time for my annual BM next on the Metal Pulpit. All right, thanks for joining me for another Metal Pulpit. And by BM, I don't mean the medical terminology. What I mean is business meeting. See, if you're part of a institutional church or one that just is in a building and you meet and you have regular get-togethers every Sunday, Saturday, whatever works for you guys, then there is something called the annual business meeting. Here at the church I pastor in central Wisconsin, we have had one every year for the last 14 years. I grew up in a church where we had one every year, and fact is, a lot of you have probably grown up in a church as well that have had annual BMs. Now here's the funny thing. For a lot of pastors, for a lot of staff, for a lot of churches, it can be just that, a big pile of BM. But for a lot of churches, it can also be a very good thing. You see, what we've been doing the last couple of years is I've recognized that business meetings can be very stodgy, very staunch, very dry. At the end of the day, people are nosy. They just want to know the bottom line. Are we in the hole or aren't we in the hole? Where's the money being spent and everything? You know, the churches have elected or appointed board members, but still a lot of churches just don't trust them. And so when they do finally see things at the end of the year, they want to ask questions. And questions are welcome, you know, questions are good, but boy, have you ever seen those situations before where you've been in a church for a long time? And I saw this when I became 18 and became a member of the church I grew up at. Becoming a member at the church I grew up at, yeah. It's not something that you just become. It was a 6-week class that we had to take to become a member. And so these members, they'll come to these meetings and ask 1,000,001 questions, making this business meeting last 1,000,001 hours, and just on and on it goes. And the other people are sitting back like, wow, we're really slicing hairs here, splitting hairs. You know, the way I start my business meeting is when we talk about dreaming, we talk about things we want to do in the future and what's coming up, things we celebrate from the past year, and all of these things. And I mix that right into the message, okay? Because I truly believe, yes, there are members of the church, and maybe I'll talk about why we do membership in church. At our church specifically, we got rid of the term member. If you look in our bylaws, we got rid of the word member, and we use the word partner, because membership has such an elitist mentality to it. Partner is saying, hey, we're all on the same playing field here, doing this together. And then there comes that point where you go over the financials, you know, where you just lay it out and what everyone's going through. At our church, our only debt is our building mortgage, and that is it. We refuse to operate in debt. And so we go over all these things, and I've gone one step further over the last couple of years after sitting in on other business meetings where people get the numbers and they're doing this thing and they're trying to add up how much the pastor makes, because pastors' salary packages are quite different in regards to each church. The church's housing allowance, there's salary, there's travel reimbursement. And so what I do is I simply come right out and say, this is how much I take home each week. What a concept. You know, the thing is that in a church, people give towards the church, and pastors' salaries come out of there. And so this, in my opinion, should not remain a mystery, but rather, hey, pastor, come right out with it. What do you make? Because this puts a lot of people's minds at ease. You see, it's 2017. The last raise I got was in 2007. And that was the last raise I took. Now, I've been offered and even hinted at getting a raise from other board members and partners within the church, but I've turned them down because, quite honestly, it's okay with what I have. And boy, we keep the main thing, and that's ministry. And so if you're a member of a church and you have your annual BM coming up, then help out the church. Help the church, because here's what I've come to discover. Those that are slicing and dicing and splitting hairs and asking all the 1,000,001 questions, they're really not giving anything to the church. I realize that's hard to say. But the ones that are giving to the church, not just their time and everything like that. I realize there are people who say, I volunteer at the church and that is my tithe. I give to a need when needed and that's my tithe, that's my offering. No, quite honestly, your volunteering is a blessing, but it's not going to help pay the light bill. I can't send a check to the electric company saying, we don't have cash, but I will come and volunteer my time to run wire at a new building so for the electric. No, it doesn't work. Be a giver of your time, resources, and everything. Be that member of your church that makes it a joy for the pastor, a joy for the rest of the church to have you on board, rather than the one who's always pointing fingers and not trusting and all of that stuff. So, annual business meetings, yeah, you know, for some churches they're horrible. For other churches they're fantastic. I enjoy them, and so I would be interested in knowing what your experience is like. You can shoot me a question right here, pastorbobadams@gmail.com, and be sure to state what you'd like, some questions, everything, and I will do my best to get back to you in a short order on these videos right here. Have a great day.